Gentlemen, first week. Great first week. Give it up! Baruch Hashem, and welcome some new faces over here, some familiar faces. Welcome to everybody who just made it back. It's so wonderful to see you. This week is Parshas Savo, when you come into Eretz Yisrael, but I'm not going to talk about that at the moment. I want to talk about something else, and that is, how do we focus on our year in the world at large? How do we use our energies? I'll give you an example. Let's say you're an accountant. When does your family know that they're not going to see you? Any accountants' kids over here? Tax season, right? You just know that they're not going to show, you're not going to see them. What if you're a teacher? Now they know you got the summer off, right? Everybody has their own kind of schedules and how they live their life. What if you're a sports fan? Well, everybody knows they're not going to see you the NFL finals and Super Bowl. Go ahead, but the playoffs and the World Cup, the Olympics, right? Sundays in general might not exist in your schedule, or maybe your entire schedule is built around your Sundays. So the way that people kind of make sense of their year has a lot to do with what world they're in and how they see themselves. What if you happen to be a Jew? So then the year works a whole different way. We work our year through the months, through the Yomim Tovim. Hashem's interaction with us, God's interaction with the Jewish people, is based on the schedule of the Yomim Tovim. And every Yontif has its own unique nature. Every Yontif has its own unique service. Every Yontif has its own unique way that we're trying to find ourselves and find a place for ourselves in Hashem's world, and to live our lives in a way that will maximize the blessing and allow us to enjoy life on a high level instead of just kind of on a low, very escapist level. And this is the process of the Jewish year. And now we find ourselves in this season, Elul, which for some has very negative connotations because it means Rosh Hashanah is coming, Yom Kippur is coming. And we're also in the period between Tisha B'Av and Rosh Hashanah, where every week there's a unique haftorah, one of the haftorahs of comfort that Yeshaya, Isaiah, prophesied to the Jewish people. And every week we read another one to prepare ourselves for Rosh Hashanah. Because there are so many difficult things that we go through in our life that sometimes we just feel that God hates us, or He's not interested in us, or He doesn't want us. And that's really bad. And it's a really hard time. And there are these comforts that Yeshaya Hanavi wrote and foretold long before Galus even happened, long before the exile happened, before things got truly nasty and horrible. Anybody who's been awake in this past year recognizes that some incredibly difficult things have been going on. Anybody who has family who served in the army, who lost family members, who had family members who were wounded. Anybody who listens to the news, they just had a UN resolution yesterday. Yeah, you know what Israel did? They managed to fight back and they wounded a bunch of terrorists. That's terrible. 147 out of 193 nations condemned Israel for fighting back. 14 nations voted in favor of Israel against this condemnation. And the rest of them, it's, I guess, too hard to decide. They declared themselves, neutral. 147 out of 193 nations. 179 out of 193 were not willing to say that we have a right to survive. Is that crazy? And we're still like in our bubble, like, we got all these things that we're marking our year with, and that's how we're using our strength and our focus. And wait, where in the world are we? Do we even understand the magnitude of what's going on today? Hashem says this week, the Navi is talking, he's saying the words of God. And we every week, like by Kabbalah Shabbos, Rav Shlomo Alkabetz wrote L'Chadodi hundreds of years ago, and it's based on these prophecies, on these nevuos that refer to the comfort and the consolation. And he starts off, Kumi Ori, should wake up, the light should shine for Yerushalayim, for the Jewish people. Kiva Orich, your light is coming. There's going to be an end to your darkness. Uchvod Hashem, Alayich Zarach, Hashem's glory will be shining on you. And he's talking about the whole world, what's going on in the world. And it's like he could have written it this week. It says, the nations of the world, Tachas Heyosech Azuva Usinua. Instead of being abandoned and hated, they ain't over. Nobody will come to look after you and see how you're doing. V'samtich ligaon olam. I'm going to place you on top of the world. Misos dor vador. You're going to be rejoicing from generation to generation. And Hashem is saying, yes, there are hard times. And the Navi is telling us, yes, there are bad times. Good times are coming. You're in a period now of comfort. This is the time to take it. How do I find my way back to relying on HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How do I find my way back to saying, okay, I want to go in your direction. It's hard. I'm confused. There are so many temptations. There are so many distractions. There are so many other things going on. But I'm just trying to find my way back to you. El is that spectacular time where we have a power to come back in a way that no other period gives us. It's a time of incredible, incredible mercy. And it's a time where in our interaction with Hashem, he's saying, come back, take comfort, know that I'm here for you. Come back to me, come back to me. And this is the message of these 7 weeks between Tisha B'Av and Rosh Hashanah, and particularly in the month of El. Come back, I'm waiting for you. Just put your trust in me. Try to live with me in your life, and we're going to be comforted. We have a beautiful Shabbos.